Do you have any problem with those people who say that these charges against Hakainde Hichilema may in fact be politically motivated?
Yeah, maybe before I speak about that, allow me to say that we are presuming on this program that the people who are commenting on the Zambian situation are being objective and honest. But it's not true. Some of the things that are being said on the program are not true, and people are not being objective. For instance, it is not true that when Mr. Hakainde Hichilema left the ceremony, the Kuomboka ceremony, there were a few people that remained behind. It's not true. And we need to be honest with one another here. It is also not true, as Dr. Sishua said, that Zambian elections were deemed not free and fair by many stakeholders. That is not true. The majority, if not all the stakeholders that monitored the election, including church mother bodies and so on, international organizations, including regional bodies, all of them without exception, described the Zambian election as free and fair and credible. The fact that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has refused to accept the outcome is of no surprise to Zambians, because he said it before a single ballot was cast. Before the election, he had said he was not going to accept the outcome. Now, talking about his arrest, PF did not arrest the man, it's the police. And there is a clear distinction in Zambia between the state and the governing party.
Sishua, what is your take on this?
Well, I think that if we agree that Zambia was the beacon of peace and democracy, the very fact that we are talking about the country in a different context now suggests that there has been some departure from the tenets of democracy for which the country was previously known. And I think that with reference to the current crisis, the problem, in my view, stems from elections which were held last year, which were seen by the opposition and many stakeholders as far from perfect. This is a country, you'd recall, where we have had two turnovers of power. In 1991, when President Kaunda lost power to an opposition party after having been in power for 27 years, and in 2011, when the current party, the Patriotic Front, defeated the former governing party, the MMD. So we had this tradition where elections are largely transparent, free and fair, and the 2016 elections were not were far from the previous elections in terms of transparency and fairness. So the consequence of that is that you have a government in place that lacks legitimacy because of the manner in which those elections were held. And the long process of that is what has brought us to where we are today, particularly to this topic.
What really jogged my memory was the fact that the ballot papers, which usually were printed in South Africa, for the first time seem to have switched to be printed somewhere in the Middle East.
In Dubai.
In Dubai, to be specific. And the UPND says this was a clear indication that something was amiss, because a similar thing happened in the Ugandan election where the ballot papers were printed there and, things happened and President Museveni won. So they drew conclusion that the Electoral Commission, for want of a better word, wanted to rig the election in favor of the Patriotic Front president, in this case, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu.
I see. Father Frank Bwalia.
Yes, please.
Why are we talking about this now? Because let's face it, you know as well as I do that your country, frankly, has had a very distinguished record for being a beacon, if not one of the beacons of hope for African democracy.
We are talking about this because the world wants Zambia to continue being a beacon of peace, to continue being an example of true democracy, not only in Africa, but in the world at large. That's the reason why we are talking about this. Does this therefore mean that Zambia has lost it, that Zambia has stopped to respect the tenets of democracy, multi-party democracy? Not at all. It's a question of the world being concerned because they want Zambia to continue with the reputation that it has earned for itself. And what we can assure the world as the governing party in Zambia is that President Edgar Chagwa is a Democrat. He will not go back on that. He's going to continue upholding democracy. He will continue to respect the opposition. He's a man, as a matter of fact, who is even criticized for being too tolerant. He's a man that is being criticized by some people for being a good man. That is Mr. Edgar Chagwa for you.